Hello, it's Miss Benson and the puppy. Okay, yesterday Miss Voss did a quick lesson with y'all on simplifying fractions and multiplying fractions. And the reason that she did that was because we are starting a new unit on probability. And for some of you, parts of this might seem familiar, but you really need to be able to do those two pieces before you can do like the regular probability stuff. So now that we've got the old stuff down and practiced, we're going to show you some actual probability problems. Okay. And before we can do that, let's go through a little bit of notes down here. All right. These will be available on Blackboard for you. So you don't have to memorize what I'm saying to you right now. You can just pull them up whenever you need them. Okay. All right. So probability is the chance of an event occurring. So what's the chance that something is going to happen? And we see this all the time in real life. What's the chance that it's going to rain tomorrow? If anybody has anybody in their family who's ever played the lottery, what's the chance that you're going to win the lottery? So that's what probability is, the chance that something is going to happen. All right. There are a few pictures on these notes that you might want to know as we go forward. So sometimes you'll hear the words number cube, and that really just means what you would normally call a dice. And then you'll see lots of spinners, which is just, you know, like Wheel of Fortune style. If you spin something, what's the chance you'll get a 2 or whatever? And then you'll hear a lot of probability questions ask about the chance of getting heads on a coin or getting tails on a coin. If you look down at the bottom, there's a few more pictures because sometimes you will see questions that ask you about cards. So spades, hearts, diamonds, clubs, those are just the different kinds of cards. Okay, if you need to know any of those things later, this will be available for you to download and you can just look back. All right, the one other thing I want to talk about, and I think probably Ms. Voss mentioned it a little bit in yesterday's video, is what are even and odd numbers, because you will need to know this for probability. So an even number is a number that is divisible by 2 evenly. So if we look over here at Desmos, I can kind of show you. All right, so for example, 14 is an even number because when I divide it by 2, I get a nice, pretty whole number 7. But 9 is an even number because when I divide it by 2, I get a decimal. All right, so that's what even and odd means. Awesome, good stuff. Okay. All right. So let's jump right in and look at a few examples. All right. So here's our first example, and it says, what is the probability of looking at these delicious donuts and then choosing a donut with stripes on it? All right, so we're going to grab something to write with. Let's get a color we can see. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to count up how many total donuts there are. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 donuts. And that's important because the total is always the bottom number in a fraction. Okay, this is how we do probability. We say out of 8 donuts, what's the chance of me getting a donut with stripes? So then I look at my picture and I have 1 donut with stripes, 2 donuts with stripes, and 3 donuts with stripes. So my chance of getting a donut with stripes is 3 out of 8. Now what you should always do is you should always go over to Desmos and you should see if that's a fraction that can be simplified. And I bet some of you already know the answer, but we're going to try it anyways. So we're going to use the method that Ms. Voss used yesterday. We're going to take the numerator and divide it by a random number, the denominator divided by a random number, and then we're going to decide what those random numbers are. And you're supposed to always try the numerator first. So we're going to try dividing these both by 3 and see if that works, and it doesn't because we've got a decimal down there. Then I'm going to go down and I'm going to try dividing by 2, and that one doesn't work either because I still have a decimal down there. I don't need to go down to 1 because anything can be divided by 1 and it just gives me the same fraction. So 3/8 is my answer. 3 out of 8 is the answer to this problem. What's the probability of choosing a donut with stripes? 3 out of 8. Okay, let's go to the next question. And I'm going to grab a pen that's a little bit skinnier because this is going to be a problem. Okay. Example number 2 says, what is the probability of choosing a donut with stripes or sprinkles? So I already know that there are 8 donuts. So let's go ahead and just write that part down. And then I'm going to count up how many donuts have stripes or sprinkles. So there's 1, 2, 3 with stripes. And then there's 1, 2, 3 with sprinkles. So the total number of donuts that have stripes or sprinkles is 6. All right. Now let's do the same thing that we did before. Come over here to Desmos. We're going to see if we can simplify this fraction. And we'll start with 6. Doesn't work. Go down to 5. Doesn't work. 4. Nope. 3. Nope. 2. That's it. 3/4 is my answer. I have a 3 out of 4 chance of getting a donut that has stripes or sprinkles. So what that means is imagine that you are actually sitting at Dunkin' Donuts or Krispy Kreme and you have these in a donut box and you don't peek and you reach into the donut box 4 times. That means that you are going to get a donut with stripes or sprinkles 3 of those 4 times. Okay. All right, let's see what the next one says. Ooh, I like this one. Okay. What is the probability of randomly selecting a lollipop that is not yellow? So we have to start in the same place. We have to start by counting how many lollipops we have. So let me just do that really quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I have 12 lollipops total. And then we're going to count how many of them are not yellow. Okay, so I actually only have 2 yellow lollipops right here and right here, which means that there are 10 that are not yellow, but we can still count them just to be sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 that are not yellow. Now I can tell you right now, the hardest part of this whole week is just going to be reading the problem carefully. So I would suggest on any activity for anybody, if you want to use the audio version, just use the audio version. It doesn't matter if you normally have audio accommodations, because if we were in school like normal right now, Mrs. Voss and I would be reading you all of these problems anyways. So use the audio, okay? Now let's come over here and simplify this just like we did with the last one. We'll start at 10 because you should always start with the numerator. Doesn't work. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and that one works. So we get that our answer is 5 out of 6. So 5/6 of the time, you're going to select a lollipop that's not yellow. And I know the simplifying can seem like it takes a little while, but it's worth practicing now because the numbers will just get bigger. Okay? All right, so we're going to skip a couple examples and we're just going to go to this cupcake one, and this will be the last one that we do. So it says there are 21 cupcakes in the picture below. Awesome. That means I don't have to count. What is the probability of randomly selecting a green cupcake? So I am starting with 21 as my denominator. And then I have to look for how many green ones there are. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 green cupcakes. So my fraction looks like that. And then we'll come over to Desmos and we'll see if we can do anything with it. So let's try 4. Doesn't work. Try 3. Doesn't work. Try 2. Nope. And we know it can be divided by 1, but we don't care if it can be divided by 1. So that just means that 4 out of 21 is our answer. So sometimes, like in this example, you won't have to simplify. Sometimes, like in this one, you will. So it's important that you try every time just to make sure. And this might get a little bit tricky for some of you, so Mrs. Voss and I will be available all day to answer your questions. We will be on video chat from 9 until 11 this morning, and then again from 1 until 3 in the afternoon. You can FaceTime, text, call, email us, whatever you need. And like I said, use Desmos and use those audio versions, even if you don't normally have audio. Okay, we love you lots, we miss you lots, and we'll see you next time.